Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Eva. I have yet another blush cheek video for you today because the blush formulas keep launching and I love reviewing blush and you guys seem to be really interested in these new formulas. So for new formulas today, we are going to be talking about the Too Faced Cloud Crush blushes and then the Lancome liquid blushes. For shade expansions, I have the new mauve shade of the YSL powder blushes, the two new Tower 28 blush shades, and then I also picked up the new Westman Atelier Super Tinted Loaded Highlighter. I believe that's what it's called, in Peau de Petal. I'm very intrigued to see if this is more of a blush for someone with my skin tone. So if you're interested in seeing how all of these blushes look on someone with fair light skin, and if you're interested in seeing some comparisons and learning more about the formula, then go ahead and keep on watching. Starting off with the Too Faced Cloud Crush Whipped Lip and Cheek Color. These retail for $28 and they come in 8 shades. I picked up 2 of them. One of them, I don't know where I put it. I used it all week when I was traveling for work. Spoiler, loved it, and I don't know where it went. So we're sticking with one shade for now. The shade I have is Headliner, and this is supposed to be a blurring multi-use blush that can be worn on cheeks or the lips. Here we have Headliner blurred out. And the claims are that the Too Faced Cloud Crush Whipped Lip and Cheek Color is a creamy multi-use whipped lip and cheek color that hydrates skin and delivers a soft focus flush of blendable blurring color that wears for 12 hours. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you all of these claims are accurate. I can't really speak to the 12-hour because I guess I forgot to check after 12 hours. They definitely last a full work day and they wear beautifully on the cheeks and the lips. I find that the majority of like multi-use lip and cheek products really do not look flattering on the lips. Typically they'll like emphasize fine lines, they'll look really chalky, etc. These wear so beautifully and they remind me a lot of like K-beauty matte products where they're really blurring but they are not drying whatsoever. So let's go ahead and get this shade on my cheeks. I'm also going to remove my lip combo that I have on so we can apply this beautiful shade to the lips as well. For application for this one, I've just been going in directly on the face. Let's start off with just one dot. And to blend out, I'm going in with my BK 109. It just blends out so beautifully. I applied too much for this particular shade. I would have gone, you know, lighter handed in real life, but now you'll be able to really see how beautiful this particular color is. And it blends out so easily and so quickly. And when I was wearing these during the week, when I was not over applying for camera, they just gave such a beautiful, natural flush to the cheeks. I was also in an extremely hot, dry climate. I was in Utah for a week and it was 98 most of the week. And it didn't melt off, wore really beautifully. Okay, so here we have Headliner applied to the cheeks, or rather to this cheek. Now we're gonna apply it to the lips. I applied a little bit. Now I'm just gonna blur it out. It is so comfortable on the lips. Again, really reminds me of like a K-beauty type of formula where it's really blurring and not overly drying. It is still going to feel a little bit dry because it's a matte product, but it's not going to be uncomfortable, at least for me. So here we have Headliner applied to the lips and the cheek. Again, I'm sorry that I can't find the other shade that I picked up, but I'm obsessed with these. I will eventually be picking more of these up. Too Faced is a brand where I feel like they tend to have pretty good sales on their website. So for now, I'm going to try and resist picking up more shades, but I do really want the peachy shade that's in the lineup and also the bright red, mainly because of how much I love how these look not only on the cheeks, but also on the lips. I think that bright red one will look really, really pretty. And then that peach one will just be a very, very beautiful, like everyday makeup look. From Lancome, we have the brand new Skin Idole Juicy Blush. These retail for $38 and they do come in 6 shades. I picked up the shade Mauve. I have not yet tried this product, so this is going to be a first impression. Okay, it is not fragranced. At least I'm not picking up a fragrance. Oh, something I did want to mention about the Too Faced one is it is fragrance. I feel like it smells like vanilla. I actually really like the fragrance. Normally I prefer no fragrance, but if it is going to be a fragrance, I like them to smell like food or more of like a gourmand vanilla scent. So did want to mention fragrance in here. Okay, Lancome, wait, maybe. I take it back. I think I'm getting like a tad bit of like a perfumey scent, which I don't love in makeup, but it's not overpowering. It's not like the like Dior foundation stick or anything like that. But if you really sniff, you will be able to smell it. So here is the shade Mauve. It's interesting that they call it mauve because I would call it more of like a nude peach. Let's talk about the claims. So it claims that it is 12-hour all-day wear, soft matte blur finish, visibly smooths out skin, does not crease or settle into fine lines, suitable for all skin types, yada, yada, yada. So the claims are very similar to the Too Faced one where it's 12 hours and then blurring. I'm going to go ahead and start blending this out. The formula is very different from the Too Faced one. That is my first impression. It is stickier, not sticky, but it is not as instantly like matte the way that the Too Faced one is. When I am blurring it out, it does dry down matte, but it doesn't have that like moussey matte feel that the Too Faced ones did. I hope that's making sense. But let's go ahead and get this on my face. I do want to say I really like the doe foot applicator, like the size of this. Because it is my first time using this formula, I'm going to start carefully with the application. Okay, now that it's on my face, I am getting a little bit of that fragrance. I can't tell. I'm like, is it a fruity fragrance or a florally one or a mixture? I'm not sure. But it's not super, super overbearing or super bothersome. Okay, so here is like a natural look with this blush. Very pretty. And then let me go ahead and add in more for building it up. So here we have shade number 40. My first impression is that I do really like this formula. It's more blurring than I thought it was going to be based on the swatch. It does blend out really nicely as well. As far as like stickiness goes, I mean, I wouldn't say it's sticky, but if we do the face test of like the hair, let's see. Absolutely no sticking on the Too Faced side, but let's see here. A little bit of sticking. Keep that in mind if you're in a super humid climate or you just hate having a blush that has any sort of, I would say like dewiness to the touch. This is like out of a 10, I want to say it's like a 1. So it's very, very minor, whereas the Too Faced one, it's a 0 from a like stickiness standpoint. First impression is I do really like this blush and I love this shade in particular, but I'm super annoyed at the price point. Like I get it's Lancome, so it's a higher end brand, but $38, I feel like this should be $32. $38 is just way too high. I am interested in picking up more shades if there ever is like a really, really good sale, like maybe, you know, like a 50% off 21 Days of Beauty. I think this formula is beautiful, but if you already have liquid blushes in your collection that you love, I don't think you need to run out and get this one whatsoever. I definitely would recommend the Too Faced one over the Lancome. I think the formula is just way more unique. And of course, as I've mentioned a million times, I love that it is the multi-use for lips and cheek. Next, let's talk about the new shade of the YSL Make Me Blush Powder Blush. This is in the shade number 23, Mauve. This is brand new. It's only in select retailers. I will have the retailer or retailers that it's available at linked down below. As it becomes available at more retailers, I will go ahead and keep that updated for you. Now, I love this blush formula. I did a video on all the shades that initially launched here in the US. I will have that linked up above. I'm just obsessed with the packaging, the formula, the shade range, etc. So when they released this shade, I knew I had to have it. I also grabbed from my collection a couple of the other nude shades. I have number 12, Nocturnal Nude, and then I also grabbed number 4, Rose Haze. That way we could do some comparisons. So let's go ahead and just do some in the pan comparisons. So here we have Mauve. In the middle, we have Rose Haze, and then here in the end, we have Nocturnal Nude. I have not yet swatched this one, so I'm very excited. Oh my god, this formula is just so smooth. So here we have Mauve. Excuse all the kitten scratches. I'm fostering 4 neonatal kittens, and they're very scratchy. Next, we have the shade Rose Haze. And then here we have the shade Nocturnal Nude. I will say that Mauve and Rose Haze are very, very, very similar. I'm going to do another swatch on my wrist just so I can do an even closer up inspection. Okay, so we have Mauve here and Rose Haze here. They're very, 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 very similar, but I will say Mauve is slightly like dustier and nuder, where Rose Haze has a little bit more like corally pink to it. But they are very similar, so do keep that in mind if you already own number 6 Rose Haze. Apologies if I was saying number 4, I meant number 6. I desperately need to wash my makeup brushes, so for now we're going in with this vintage Bobbi Brown face blender. I still remember when I got this with my mom at a Nordstrom anniversary sale in high school when it came with the bronzing brick. TBT back in the day. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this beautiful shade on my face. That is just so natural and beautiful. I'm going to build up more. God, these are also extremely blurring as well. So here we have the shade Mauve. I am obsessed. That is my first impression. I already love this formula. I love this type of a blush shade. Anything that's like dusty, nudie, absolutely adore. And I find that these shades are so flattering, especially now that I've like dyed my hair a different color. Actually, there are certain colors that just do not look good at all with my like cowboy copper hair, but this is just the type of shade that will go with any hair color that you have. Let's go back to the liquid category. This is the Westman Atelier Liquid Super Loaded Illuminator in the shade Peau de Petal. So this is a liquid highlighter product. I do have one of these in a different shade. It's more of like a traditional champagne highlighter shade, but I love everything Petal from Westman Atelier. The Petal, I think it's called the Lit Up Stick, which is their like stick highlighter, is incredible. I picked it up during the Sephora sale this past year on a whim, and it is the most unique, beautiful highlighter slash blush for me. So when they launched this product and this new shade, I really wanted to check it out. First and foremost, you do have to shake up the formula. It is a very, very liquidy product, and it's supposed to be a highlighter, so it's going to be on the sheerer side, but I find for me the Petal highlighter products typically look beautiful as a blush, so that's how we're going to try this first. I'm going to take this and just go in on my other cheek. And this has a lot of like skincare ingredients, which, you know, of course you're not really going to see the benefit of because of the amount that you're applying to your face. But I have to say, whatever skincare ingredients are in this particular product, I think it's like squalene. I do love the way it smells. It's not fragrant. It just smells like very good quality, non-fragranced skincare, if that makes sense. Okay, so here we have a little bit on the face. I'm not really seeing a lot of the pigment transfer over, so I'm going to build it up more. Okay, I'm starting to see it now. Okay, and I see it when I pull my mirror back and it hits the light. It is a very, very dewy, subtle pink. So here we have the petal shade of the liquid highlighter from Westman Atelier. Because it is so sheer, my recommendation is that you use it more as a blush topper or an actual highlight as it's intended. I don't think for me that I'll be wearing this as a blush very much because it is more sheer than I would like, but as a highlighter, I am very excited because when it catches the light, that pink really does shine through in a way that isn't over the top, like a, you know, like it's not like a hot pink highlighter, but definitely has a very subtle, beautiful, rosy pink petal sheen to it. So I'm excited to continue to play around with these. I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. Last, we have the Tower 28 GetSet blushes in the limited edition shades, which are a collaboration with the makeup beauty influencer Toni Bravo. And these are the shades Sunset Shirley and Downtown Daiquiri. I really love this formula. I did another video on this formula. I will go ahead and link it up above if I haven't hit my linking limit for the YouTube video. They do have a limit to how many links you can share within a video. But I love this formula. These retail for only $22, which I feel like is very, very reasonable. A lot of drugstore makeup products are now like $18. So $22 I think is very, very fair. Now we have the shade Sunset Shirley, which is a warm raspberry. And then we have the shade Downtown Daiquiri, which is a bright coral. Let's get these swatched on the arm. Here is Sunset Shirley. Ooh, that is beautiful and very pigmented. And then here we have Downtown Daiquiri. Ooh. My word. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I am going to, of course, need to be light-handed when applying these so I don't instantly look like a clown. So I'm going to be as careful as humanly possible. Let's first go in to Downtown Daiquiri. Definitely trying to tap off some of the excess. Oh. Wow, that is very wearable. Something I love about this formula is it is very buildable. The Tower 28 is. I found that every shade in their lineup I am able to wear because you can really build it up to be more pigmented or just do a little bit like I did here for a more natural look. But let's go ahead and build up more. Let's go in with more of that coral shade. This is way more than I would wear normally, but hopefully this will give you a better sense of what this product can build up to. So here is the shade Downtown Daiquiri. On the other side of my face, we're going to go in with this beautiful, beautiful raspberry. Okay. Stopping there. I went in a little heavy from the get-go on this one. That's my fault. That's user error. But even though I'm going in heavy, I'm like, wow, I love, 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 love this shade. So here is the shade Sunset Shirley. I really like both of these shades, but I'm especially fond of Sunset Shirley, which is the warm raspberry shade. I think it's really bright and beautiful and fun, and it's not just like a normal bright red. It is more of a bright raspberry, as it is called, Eva. Come on, let's get with it. So really like this one. I like the coral one as well, but on me, I just think this shade is more flattering. I do have all of the other shades of the Tower 28 blushes. I don't see any that are going to be similar to the limited edition Toni Bravo ones, but I did want to pull out the coral shade Culver Crush so I can swatch that next to Downtown Daiquiri. I went ahead and put it here. Honestly, it's kind of like if these two shades had a baby and were a little bit lighter. It is more of a pinky coral and obviously a lot lighter than this one that we have here. These are allegedly limited edition, so if you're interested, I would pick them up sooner rather than later because I don't know how long they will be available for. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this video was helpful, would love if you give it a thumbs up. Also, if you do decide to purchase any of these items and my review and swatches were helpful, would love if you consider shopping through my affiliate links down below. It does really help support this tiny channel. Also, would love if you subscribe and follow me on Instagram. If you end up picking any of these up, let me know in the comments. I always love hearing what you buy, what you like, what you don't like. Also, if there are any other new blush launches that I haven't covered that you are aware of and you want me to cover on this channel, leave a comment down below.